Over in Baltimore, that B-Note concept is growing too. Since our first visit, dozens more businesses have joined, and thousands more B-Notes are going into circulation. There's even talk of using the dollars that back the B-Notes to create a community fund that lends to local businesses. As for the note I've been tracking, last I heard it was with a coffee roaster that made a delivery to the cafe.
Here's some B-Notes and the rest is by check.
And the B-Notes are moving on from there.
Our hope here at Zeke's is that it does help us grow and in turn help other businesses grow.
Before heading home, I want to check in with the fellow we met at the Time Bank training in Santa Fe. He has an idea that much can grow from a small garden. What do you like about it?
I like that it's a community garden, that's for the community, and it teaches the kids how to eat better. Most of them have never had anything that's in this garden before.
If you want to buy food to cook in this here,
you got to go to Aston or Brookhaven.
How far away?
6 miles about.
So there's no grocery store?
Nope, the next grocery store would be in Delaware. There's no grocery store in the city of Chester.
It's in the next state?
Yes.
That's unbelievable. So no wonder you need a garden. I mean, you know. So you ever cook up this stuff at home?
And that's the cool thing with starting this. It's a neighborhood initiative.
Wait, what happened? You got a bug? What is that? But you think something this size can make a difference to a community?
In this community, yes.
Think about the garden.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, they would like to have it bigger. There's a lot of stuff they would like to do with it.
We want to see good things happen in our community. You know, things are growing.
Yeah.
You know.
Jesse Marshall and a team of students from Swarthmore College, just up the road, partnered with the Chester Housing Authority to get the garden off the ground.
We're in a really extraordinary position here in Chester where there is no source of fresh produce, and that is a travesty and a tragedy, but it's also an incredible opportunity. It's hard, there are a lot of roots. Wow, look at that. So what this allows us to do is do it ourselves and create jobs, create income, improve health, build community with public spaces like this.
I think that might be a good idea, actually.
The Chester Housing Authority also plans to incorporate our exchange into the garden and into other programs like computer training, where kids get skills that could lead to a job.
You can look around and see like how we're trying to make a change one step at a time. So I guess it depends on the person who's trying to lead. So I think that's the one thing we've been learning about lately.
I want to like build schools and give back to my community and bring more to Chester, like be a place where people can go and hang out and have fun.
They say the children are our future. And if we don't help them, what's going to become of their future? I wonder about that all the time. That's why I need 20 more years in my life, because I got to make sure when my grandchildren grow up that they're not going to have all this hardship in their life. In the city of Chester trying to start this time bank, I think it will be good for a lot of people, because a lot of people can't find work. If they just start doing some of this volunteer, who knows, you might stumble upon a job in the midst of it all.
Like salad. We're gonna do tomato basil salad. Everything is gonna come from this garden. Oh yeah? Great.
Do we correctly measure the benefit of a good tomato to a child? Why do you do it? I mean, like, why even get involved in this? Sounds like you care about this place?
Well, I grew up here in Chester. Pretty much anybody you talk to told me, tell you that I love the kids, I love the community. That's what I'm about.
Home stretch now, back at my hometown, to hang out with a guy I like to say is the smartest man I know, the professor, a.k.a. my dad.
This is what this country is about. I mean, this is, people have been, and I don't mean that in this cliche sense, but this is a country built on uncertainty because of the emphasis on individualism and all the rest. What did people do during the Depression? What did my parents do?
During the Depression?
During the Depression. You know, I mean, I think
But it was supposed to get better, Dad. It was supposed to get better.
Well,
your generation was better. Mine's supposed to be better. And that's not clear. And it's not clear for the grandkids.
There was nothing clear for my generation or the one before it. You think, oh, things are great now and they will continue to be great. But the history of it is that it doesn't stay great for very long. Well, what did people do when they were faced with an economic crisis? Some people drop out. Other people, you know, are driven to have imagination.
But there's an echo in what we're trying to do here. As the wider system fails, people draw together and say, well, what can we do?
Right.
One dividend of the time invested traveling on this economic adventure has been the chance to reflect, to put it all together. As the journey draws to a close, the lesson for me is that we Americans are an enterprising lot. In tough economic times, folks are experimenting with new ways to create jobs from the bottom up and new ways to organize businesses. There's a common element in all of these efforts. They're building on local relationships. A stronger economy for all of us can turn on whether we can forge these person-to-person, community-based relationships into something bigger to support livelihoods during our working years and beyond. In the beginning, I contributed my hour to the Portland Exchange. Now it's my time to debit my account as my Fixing the Future explorations come to a close. What I get is a sailing lesson from Stephen Beckett, our world partner and sailor. Steve, I gotta say that sharing hours doesn't feel like much of a sacrifice right now. You know, I go into a nice person's basement, I squirt in a little bit of expandable insulation, I put up a little weather stripping, and I get to come out on the water with you. In a sense, it's an example that with more community doesn't mean material sacrifices necessarily.
One of the principles of Service Exchange is that everyone has things that they can share. I think that we have been exchanging skills as long as we've been aware that we were even on the planet. We just have this arbitrary economic system that we all have, you know, have grown up in and believe in and contribute to and work in. If it's not working anymore, then let's do something different. People are in distress all over for many, many reasons on many different fronts. People are wondering, how are we gonna get by? How are we gonna live? How are we gonna get by when we're 80? You know, what are we gonna do for healthcare? What are we gonna do for transportation? How are we going to meet all of the basic human needs that we all have?
You would argue that some of the answer to that is in community, is in hooking up people.
Always has been. Community is more like something that we're remembering than something that we're creating all over again. Let's turn and go back into the wind.
Let's do that.
Poets and sages all throughout history